This is the NFL Experts Schedule Rundown.
Alright, today we are going over the new and improved Denver Broncos schedule with Peyton Manning week 1. They start out at home against the Steelers. Louis, what do you think is going to happen here?
I think they're going to lose here. I think the Steelers have a lot of receivers to go against the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos have enough secondary-wise. They lost Brian Dawkins to retirement, and I just think the Steelers are going to take this mainly because of it's going to be a defensive battle, I think. And I like the Broncos defense. I like the Steelers defense better here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Steelers are also going to take this. They've got a great receiving core, a lot of depth, and Roethlisberger's got a lot of weapons, and they also have a great defense, like you said. The Broncos will start out 0-1.
Okay, week 2 is at the Atlanta Falcons. Dave, who's going to win this one?
I think the Broncos are going to get their first win here. Never mind. I think the Falcons are going to. I think it'll be a good game. It'll come down to the wire. But Matt Ryan, I think he's got better receivers than Peyton does, and Julio Jones and Roddy White. So I'm going to give this one to the Falcons.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to have the Falcons lose this one to the Broncos. I think really the Falcons, when they lost Curtis Lofton, that weakened their linebacking core. Even though they did sign Lofa Tatupu, I think they downgraded that position. Jonathan Abraham is still on that side, but there's not really much else to go. But I'll give the Broncos. I just think they're a better overall team. So week 3 is home against the Houston Texans, a battle of two top AFC teams. Dave, who's going to win this battle?
I think the Broncos are going to get their first win against the Texans. I'm not going to say it again, but their Texans defense got worse with a couple of losses. And I think the Broncos are going to win this one.
I'm going to disagree. I think they're going to lose this one to the Texans. I think Peyton Manning's going to start. I think it's going to take him a couple of weeks to get back into the gist of the NFL because he did miss all of last year. So I'll give the Texans this win, mainly too because Matt Schaub is coming back off an injury, and I think he's going to really start off fast. And he'll have Andre Johnson as his receiver, and he'll have Arian Foster to hand off to just in case.
All right, next they take on the Raiders in week 4. They're home. I think this one's going to be another win for them. I think they'll get back to 500. I think if they can shut down Darren McFadden, that's pretty much everything on the Raiders' offense. And the Broncos got a good linebacking core with Von Miller, so I think the Broncos are going to win that.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to take this one. I think it is going to be hard to stop Darren McFadden, but like you said, they have a strong defensive line that can get to Carson Palmer, and I don't think the Raiders have a lot of great receivers. They do have Demarius Moore, who's a pretty good receiver. He's a young, rising star. But I'll still give the Broncos this win, mainly because, too, the Raiders, I don't know on defense really much other than Richard Seymour. But I just think the Broncos are just an overall better team here, and I think the Raiders are outmatched.
All right, week 5, they're away against the Patriots. Louis, what do you think the outcome is going to be in this one?
I think they're going to lose to the Patriots. I don't think this is the old Peyton Manning, Tom Brady matchup. I think the Patriots are going to take this one. They improved greatly on defense side, drafting Donta Hightower and Chandler Jones. So I think they're greatly improved from last year. I have them as my Super Bowl pick, and I think they're going to beat the Broncos here.
All right, yeah, I agree with you there. The Patriots are just a better team. Peyton Manning definitely downgraded in his receivers, without Reggie Wayne. So I think that Brady's going to take this win for the Patriots, and the Broncos will be right now 2-3.
Okay, week 6 at the San Diego Chargers. I'm going to give them this win. It's going to be a big division battle throughout the next years when Peyton Manning is in the league. I think that, really the Chargers downgraded on the receiver position when they lost Vincent Jackson to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they did sign Robert Meacham to improve. And my fellow Bills fan likes to say Roscoe Parrish.
Yes, Roscoe Parrish. That'll be a big addition to their team. He's got a great slot receiver. He's got massive speed.
Yeah, but I still have the Broncos winning this game, mainly because the Chargers really haven't had a strong defense in the past couple of years. They did draft Melvin Ingram, but I'll still give the win to the Broncos.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. but I'm going to give this win to the Broncos as well. All right, week 7 is their bye week. I've got them 500 at 3-3.
And I as well have them at 500 at 3-3.
All right, week 8, they're against the Bounty Program Saints. I think this one's going to be a loss, even though they did lose some players on defense, even though it's only 2 players for them because the other 2 aren't on the Saints anymore. And I think that Drew Brees is a great quarterback, and he's got a great tight end, Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, I think the Saints are really going to be hurt this season. I don't know what the whole situation with Drew Brees is. They did get some movement in the whole negotiations with offering Drew Brees a contract. Don't know how far it's going to go and if Brees is going to like it. So I'm going to give the Broncos the win. They lost Jonathan Vilma for the whole season, but they did replace him with Curtis Lofton, the former middle linebacker of the Atlanta Falcons. But they just don't have enough defensively right now to beat the Broncos.
All right, week 9, they're away against the Bengals. I think this one's going to be a win. I think it'll be a good battle between young quarterback Andy Dalton and old quarterback Peyton Manning. But also, Andy Dalton's got the better receiver with A.J. Green. I really like A.J. Green, and I love the way he plays, but I'm going to give the win to the Broncos anyway.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the battle of the 2 young receivers and Demaryius Thomas versus A.J. Green. I'm not sure really how Andy Dalton's going to play out against this tough Broncos defense with Von Miller on one side and Ellis Dumervil on the other. So I think the Broncos are going to take this one. It's going to be a close game, though.
All right, week 10, they play the Panthers. They're away this one. Louis, what do you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to win this one as well. It's another Peyton Manning veteran versus the young second-year Cam Newton, who is one of the most explosive quarterbacks in the league. But I like the Broncos in this one. I think it's going to be another really close game. The Panthers improved greatly, drafting Luke Kuechly, the linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. He did come out of Boston College. So I'm going to give the Denver Broncos the win.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the Broncos are going to be able to beat the Panthers here. I think it'll be a pretty good matchup. It won't be a blowout, but I think the Broncos are going to take this one.
Okay, week 11, they are home against the San Diego Chargers. Dave, who's going to win this division showdown?
I'm going to give this one to the Chargers. I think it'll be a good game between the quarterbacks and Phillip Rivers and Peyton Manning. But even though Peyton is better, I still think that the Chargers are going to win.
Yeah, I'm going to have the Broncos losing this one as well. I think the Chargers is going to be a huge showdown between Phillip Rivers and Peyton Manning. But I like the Chargers here. I don't think the Broncos can sweep the Chargers. Okay, week 12 at the Kansas City Chiefs. Dave, who's going to win this one?
Ooh. I'm going to give this one to the Broncos. I think they could blow them out here as long as they stop Jamal Charles, which Von Miller is capable of, and Ellis Dumervil. So I think Peyton will be he'll be back in action. He'll be 100% by this point. He'll just be he'll toast the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Broncos are going to win this one. I think as long, like you said, if they can stop the Jamal Charles running game with as well Thomas Jones, I think they'll take this one. Mainly too because I think Matt Castle really is not going to be able to lead them to a win past Peyton Manning. He's really going to be attacked by Ellis Dumervil and Von Miller here. So I'll give the win to the Broncos.
All right, week 13, they play the Buccaneers. Lou, what do you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Buccaneers really improved this year, and I think they're going to be better, way better. Maybe resemble what they did 2 years ago when they went 10-6. They signed Vincent Jackson, offensive guard Carl Nix, who used to be on the Saints. They got a lot of new pieces in the drafting when they drafted. They got Mark Barron, the safety of Alabama, so they've just improved a ton. But back to the Broncos, like I said, the Broncos just are an overall better team, mainly because of the quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there, including the Broncos are going to win that, and they will be 7-5.
Okay, week 14 is at the Oakland Raiders. Dave, who's going to win this one?
I'm going to say it'll be a good matchup, but the Broncos are going to win it for reasons we've mentioned. Also, I really haven't said much about the Broncos receiving team. They do have good receivers with Royal and Thomas, and with Peyton, that'll just make them twice as good. So I think that the Broncos are going to win that one.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to win this one as well. We haven't really mentioned how strong the Broncos running game last year was, mainly too because of Tim Tebow, but they do have Willis McGahee, And No Sean Moreno's coming back from an injury last year. A lot of people forgot about him. He's a great talent that could really help this team a lot this season. So I'll have the Broncos win this one.
All right. Next, week 15, they're away in Baltimore. I think this one's going to be a loss. I think the Ravens' defense is too much for the Broncos to handle. They've got a great defense with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed in the backfield. Even though they are old, they're still really good. And I think Ray Rice is a great running back. He's one of the best running backs in the league, in my opinion. And I think he can run all over the Broncos.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great game. I do think that the Ravens defense is going to be hurt a lot, mainly because they lost Terrell Suggs, but they did draft in the second round Courtney Upshaw, the outside linebacker from Alabama, and I think they're just an overall better team than the Broncos. Joe Flacco had a pretty good season last year, and I think he's going to count off that with a better one. He's got receivers like Torrey Smith and Anquan Bolden, and he also has Julius Jones, who's going to be a great receiver as well. So I'm going to give the Ravens this win. Okay, week 16 is versus the Denver Broncos. Versus the Cleveland Browns. Dave, who's going to win this one?
I think this is going to be a blowout. The Broncos are going to blow them out. Peyton Manning, he's going to torch the Browns defense, and it'll be an easy win for him.
Yeah, I agree. There's not much said. The Broncos are just obviously an overall better team. Okay, week 17, they take on the Chiefs. Dave, who's going to win this one?
I think it's going to be another win. I think it'll be a close one, but I think the Broncos are going to pull it out.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree. I think they're going to win this one too. It's going to be a tough one. I think the Chiefs are going to give it all they can to push for a playoff spot, but I think they're going to lose this game. I'll have the Broncos winning. Okay, so my final record was 10-6 for the Broncos.
And mine was also 10-6. They might make the playoffs. I'm not really sure yet. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Schedule Rundown on NFL Experts. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Crest Sports and Louis at DB Sports Talks. Be sure to comment, tell us what you think the Broncos are going to do, and comment on all of our other videos, rate all of our videos, and please subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to visit our website at www.nfl-experts.webs.com. See ya.